what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Everywhere you look in the barbecue world, you find a list. Best Texas barbecue, best new barbecue, best barbecue state, best barbecue region, best Charlotte barbecue, best barbecue sauce, best barbecue style, best brisket, best dessert. You get the picture. Everybody likes to talk about their top lists. Sometimes that's good. It gives people like me something to talk about. But who gets to really decide which list is legit and which list is not legit? We talk about some big lists in this episode of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. A couple of those lists by big barbecue names. They're celebrating some of our favorite Carolina barbecue places. Other lists, we'll get to that. In this episode, we're sharing barbecue business news. Jake Wood and Lawrence Barbecue announced new headquarters. So did Elliott Moss. Other familiar barbecue names are closing forever. There's accolades to celebrate among some of our favorite pit masters. We'll also talk about what I'm reading in the barbecue world. Hey, you think that pork that's in my refrigerator from 4th of July is still safe? And we'll talk about that today. You're listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcast. I'm Chigger Willard, and today I'm going to take you over some of the top barbecue news, some of the things we've shared with our audience at our newsletter, The Lowdown. You can find the Lowdown newsletter and subscribe at lowslowbbqshow.com. When you do, you'll get Carolina barbecue news delivered to your inbox every Tuesday. Also at lowslowbbqshow.com, you can find all our products with the Pitmaster interviews, barbecue road trips, recipe ideas. You get the picture. You can even find a link to all the news that I'm about to share with you today on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Here is the Lowdown. Paul Mira is the best Texas barbecue in America. Story number one today. That's right. Texas Monthly says Paul Mira Barbecue is best Texas barbecue outside of Texas, of course. Barbecue editor Daniel Vaughn also included 2 North Carolina locations in his top 10 list. That's Prime Barbecue in Knightdale, as well as John G's Barbecue in Peachland. We've had John G here on the show. It has Garen, his family there, the Kirkmans in Peachland, doing a great job with barbecue. So cool to see them on the list. In fact, here's the top 10 there from the Barbecue Snob. Number 1 is Paul Mira. Again, I mentioned Prime Barbecue in at number 2. It's Owens and Hall in Georgia at 3. Moo's Craft Barbecue in California at number 4. Number 5 is Heritage Barbecue. Southern Junction Barbecue in New York. Pico Rica Barbecue in Utah. And then it's John G's at number 8 out of Peachland again in North Carolina. At number 9, Edgecraft Barbecue from Oklahoma. And it's Golden Hour Barbecue in Nebraska. That rounds out the top 10 there of the best Texas barbecue in America, according to Daniel Vaughn's Texas Monthly. Damp Good Barbecue gets a salute in North Carolina, state by state breakdown there from the Barbecue Snob. In South Carolina, Vaughn also highlights Fort Grove Barbecue. That's Dylan Cook, and he talks about City Limits Barbecue, Robbie Robinson, and Lewis Barbecue as well down in Charleston. All great barbecue in South Carolina. And I also want to shout out Vaughn's honorable mentions aren't necessarily Texas, he says, but they are worth the recognition. And among those, County Smoke in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's our buddies Ken and Jess Hess. They're in Lynchburg. And now that football season's striking up, you'll get their barbecue at the Liberty football game. So look for that out there. And it's Ken and Jess Hess at County Smoke. So he gets a shout out there it's not Texas, but honorable mentions. Also, Lawrence Barbecue and Durham Barbecue. That's in North Carolina. Again, Lawrence and Durham, as well as King Barbecue in Charleston on the honorable mentions for Daniel Vaughn. Hey, read all of his coverage for the commentary about Texas barbecue and Texas Monthly. He visited 149 Texas-style barbecue joints in 30 states. You can find all that at Texas Monthly. If you visited it for the first time, you'll get in for free. After you've clicked it for 15 or 20 times like I do, you'll have to pay up, but you might want to do that. It's good content. So also back to our next story, Palmyra is in that as well. Palmyra Barbecue also topped the chart for Southern Living's best new barbecue restaurants. And those are the restaurants that have opened since 2021. This is compiled by a barbecue editor for Southern Living, Robert Moss. And he just judged the list based on the enjoyment of the meal and overall experience of the visit. Again, Palmyra comes in at number one. Some of those other familiar names coming in along the list as well. Beside Palmyra, City Limits from West Columbia, we just mentioned them. King Barbecue from North Charleston, Longleaf Swan from Raleigh, Rancho Lewis in Charleston, Smoking Buttheads in Spartanburg, Lechon Latin Barbecue and Bar, I'm sure I said that wrong, in Raleigh, and Hooley Sue's in Asheville. And Hooley Sue's is getting a lot more of attention here lately. I hear that's really great stuff. She kind of rounds out the list there for the top best new barbecue joints, according to Southern Living. Again, Palmyra's on there, and we've talked about them here in these last couple of sort of lists here. And one thing, again, we mentioned them. They opened in February. We had an episode talking about our visit there, and they really kind of blend South Carolina, Texas, and Puerto Rican flavors there. Go and get the beef cheeks. So we're on our list high horse. We're going to keep it rolling here. The best 10 states for barbecue. And again, the Carolinas lead the list. And I will confess, this list, the quality, or I guess the resource falls drastically from the barbecue snob, Daniel Vaughn in Texas Monthly, and Robert Moss, esteemed barbecue editor for Southern Living. I'm sure the Geography King is no slouch in his report for the top 10 states for barbecue with RV Travel, but he still has compiled a list. So he's given this list as being declared as factual and accurate. And number one on the list for Geography King, is Missouri. Nothing wrong with that. As Geography King says, where the big barbecue cities like St. Louis and Kansas City provide plenty of show me to rank them at the top. On that list, South Carolina number two. So maybe Geography King knows what he's talking about. He loves the whole hog barbecue, the vinegar pepper sauce, mustard-based sauce. And, of course, that means that much love for the Carolinas puts us in North Carolina at number three, where we're again recognized for whole hog barbecue. But he throws in some love for the tomato-based sauce that he calls from the northern part of the state. So I'm not exactly sure which part that is. I mean, I know where the tomato-based sauce is, but I'm not sure which section is the northern base. That's being a geography snob with the Geography King, I'm sure. Also, good news about his list. Texas is number 4. No need to say any more about that list, but I'll tell you more about another list. Best barbecue in Charlotte. Charlotte 5 and the Charlotte Observer put all that together here, I guess, since the middle part of August. It started out with about 50 entries for barbecue places from as far as an hour away from Charlotte. Everybody got in the votes. You got to vote through several rounds of it. Also, I threw my name in there and voted for a couple of my favorite folks. And some of the finalists, again, familiar people, folks we've had on the podcast. We've got their blogs and content at lowslowbbqshow.com. It's Garen Kirkman at John G's, Midwood Smokehouse. I haven't had Red Bridges Barbecue on the show, but I've been there and it's great. And Edmar Samoas from Resident Culture, Sweet Lou's. The final round of voting wrapped up just after September 3rd. And that final round put in the victory seat the Pit. I can't believe I've skipped over this. All right, the Smoke Pit. They defeated Red Bridges Barbecue Lodge with 10,000 total votes cast. Congratulations to the Smoke Pit. I will say that the Smoke Pit's good. I haven't been there. If it's good, they've got 4 locations: Concord, Gastonia, Monroe, and Salisbury. Red Bridges Barbecue Lodge, there's just one of those. So take that for what it is. Check it out at the Charlotte Observer, Charlotte 5. That's the best barbecue in Charlotte voting. Those are some of the lists that we've seen. Again, kind of take it for its worth. That's a Reader's Choice Award. Does that mean anything to you? Does it mean anything to me? A competition judge's taste, I'm sure, is very different. While I'm talking about lists, I gotta get one more in here from the news that we've shared and we've gathered up and put out in the Lowdown newsletter. over the summertime. And this one I really enjoyed. Again, it's about a Carolina news story. Education, North Carolina. They know the Tar Heel State better than many organizations here. They go across the state advocating for students and trying to keep representatives on the road, spanning the roads all the way from Cherokee to Manteo. If you know geography, that's all the way at the east and the west. I don't know where the north is and all that, but Cherokee to Manteo, east to west. So naturally, the Education NC folks are visiting and eating in all the state's 100 counties, and they did a nice job. Mebane Rash shared her favorite food stops along the way. Check it out at Education NC. And that list included plenty of barbecue businesses. I'm sure you could find 100 counties and 100 barbecue visits. The variety is a spice of life, right? So Mebane has put together a list that's got 15 barbecue places on it. Many of those places, like I said, the Low and Slow Barbecue Show has visited. Among those, Smoke On Barbecue in Transylvania County. More about them in just a moment. And some of the others I'll share with you. All this I'll put on the blog at lowslowbbqshow.com. So you got the list. The list has the links to all these restaurants, again, put together by Mebane Rash from Education, North Carolina, and I'll share a link to her story too. So great stuff. You'll have the full list. The ones I wanted to call out here around the area, again, from Cherokee to Manteo. Let's start with Cherokee. Dragon Ass Smoked Barbecue. That was their favorite stop there. In Cleveland County, it's Red Bridges Barbecue Lodge. They get some love there again, too. In Davidson County, one of my all-time favorites, Lexington Barbecue. That's the Honey Monk, of course, for folks who didn't know. In Transylvania County, I mentioned Smoke On Barbecue. That's in Brevard. It's actually a drive-through barbecue. I don't know how many of those that are specific to being a drive-through, but I guess you could walk up to it as well. But Smoke On Barbecue in Brevard is really good. And then in Wilson, Parker's Barbecue, some of their favorites. They also, in Pitt County, mentioned Skylight Inn and Bees Barbecue. Could not decide between the two, so they just named both of them. Again, those are just some of the 15 barbecue restaurants that they shared with their readers at Education NC. Get the whole list again at lowslowbbqshow.com or check it out on the internet, Education NC. I'm sure you can find it, 100 county list. All the favorite barbecue stops. Some of the other news over the Lowdown during the summer: fire destroyed new facilities at Operation Barbecue Relief's Camp Operation Barbecue Relief. That's Camp OBR. You might remember we spoke with the founder of Camp Operation Barbecue Relief on the show right there before the Carolina Barbecue Festival. They got a great camp they've been building there. It's for military members and veterans, first responders. Families of fallen heroes. Unfortunately, an electrical fire destroyed the new facilities that were just being completed there at Camp OBR. And what they understand is that insurance coverage is supporting the rebuilding efforts, but Operation Barbecue Relief is really counting on community support to restock many of the supplies, essential items that are needed by guests. So this all happened in July. They're already getting a lot of things put back together. Again, it affected the bathhouse, the laundry facilities, garages, and a lot of essential equipment was destroyed. So if you want to reach out and to support the barbecue community and this organization that provides such great support to folks in other communities all around our nation, just look out the Camp OBR Needs wish list on Amazon. You can find it out there. You find the Camp Operation Barbecue Relief blog at our website, and you can find a link there to the organization. Get in touch with them. There's plenty of ways to get involved and make a donation and support them as they're doing such a cool mission there. At Camp Operation Barbecue Relief in the Ozarks near Missouri. So let's move on. Talk about Pitmaster accolades. Pitmaster accolades. That's right. During our Lowdown newsletter, we also like to salute the folks that are doing cool things out in the barbecue world. They're winning some of the championships, some of the things. And I know it's not all about the championships, but folks are certainly working hard out there in the world. And so we want to give them some credit. And, one of those is the Southern Barbecue Network Cook Team of the Year. It is the Ultimate Tailgaters Barbecue. They were celebrated during the annual meeting. Congratulations to the Ultimate Tailgaters Barbecue. They actually have won 4 out of the past 5 years for this competition team. as a catering operation based in Aiken, South Carolina. So congratulations to the Ultimate Tailgaters. A big thanks as well to the Southern Barbecue Network. They joined the Low and Slow Barbecue Show's list of sponsors this year, and we've had a great time interviewing their competitive pit masters and their event organizer, and more to come with those guys coming very soon. And I'm hoping to get some of the competition action going on a little bit later. They're going to be in Bessemer City this month. Stay tuned. I'll give you some more details about that, but hoping to connect with those guys there. But congratulations to the Cook Team of the Year, the Ultimate Tailgaters Barbecue for Southern Barbecue Network. They accumulated the most points over the course of the entire season, came out on top for the fourth out of the past 5 years. A new season of competition in that event for Southern Barbecue Network actually kicked off in the middle of August. That was in Fayetteville with the third annual Black Barbecue Cook-Off. For that team, 26KA Barbecue Team won the Black Barbecue Grand Championship. Congratulations to those guys. They amassed the most points to win the Grand Championship of the Cook-Off, and that happened August 17th. They got second place finish in chicken and third place finishes in both ribs and brisket. That gave them enough points to get the grand championship. And in the third year, this is the first time the competition was sanctioned and judged by the Southern Barbecue Network. Some of the other competing teams were in the Army Q. They finished second place overall. Smoky Reds Barbecue finished third. And just to give you the complete rundown, the winners for each category included: for ribs were Big Bear's Barbecue, for chicken in the Army Q, for brisket Smoky Reds Barbecue. Check out all those guys. You can follow them on the social media world. Southern Barbecue Network at Southern BBQ Network is pretty active on Facebook, so check those guys out there. Also want to celebrate another pit master. That is our friend Keith Big Brisket Henning from Black Powder Smokehouse. He was among 15 savory chefs chosen to compete among the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association's Chefs Showdown. And actually, the competition started with 70 chefs. They boiled it down to 28 before they got to 15 that included Big Brisket. So congratulations to Keith, for being able to get there and compete. And it's a live event held over the weekend in a really cool thing. Keith's again been to the finals before. They held that. Folks get to vote on their people's choice, and then other people get chosen Chef of the Year, Pastry Chef of the Year. Keith, unfortunately, wasn't one of the champions announced there this year, but again, definitely cool to see him celebrated at a statewide level there. He does such cool stuff there at Black Powder Smokehouse. And of course, we've had him on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show as well. Remember at the barbecue festival, he had the ramen with quail eggs. Oh, man, that was so good. Would love to get to Asheboro and try some of that stuff again soon. I'll give you some of the other winners from the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association Chef Showdown. That includes Matthew Deering from ... in Charlotte. He ultimately was named Chef of the Year. Pastry Chef of the Year, Savannah Brodar from Country Club of North Carolina at Pinehurst. Distillery of the Year, was Broad Slab Distillery in Benson. Mocktail of the Year, Miguel Angel Latorre Jr. And Revival 1869 in Clayton is where he was from there. So congratulations to all those winners. You can find more at ncrla.org. A lot of other winners there, including the People's Choice. I'll keep that cat in the bag for them. I mentioned Pinehurst, which is where the Pastry Chef of the Year came from, the Country Club of North Carolina at Pinehurst. Of course, if you know anything about North Carolina barbecue, you know this weekend around Labor Day was a big one in Pinehurst. Congratulations to all the folks who participated in the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival. Looked out there, saw some of the coverage. I see my man Ronald Simmons in the pilot, Jake Woods there, Sweet Lou's. And we mentioned that Black Powder Smokehouse, a lot of great pit masters from all over the state and beyond. Chris Prado from Prime Barbecue, of course, there in Nightdale. We talked about a little bit earlier in the big lists. If you like something like this, an event where all the big pit masters from the region, the state, maybe even the country are going to be there, get them all in one place, stay tuned. I got some details coming up about another big event you don't want to miss. Because from everything that I've seen at the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival, the pictures, the videos, really looks like a great way to wrap up the summer smoking season in a state where barbecue is big business. Speaking of, Let's talk barbecue business. Lawrence Barbecue is moving. That's right. The world headquarters is going to Cary in summer of 2025. Lawrence Barbecue's looking forward to a new brick and mortar. You know, they've been at Boxyard RTP, as Jake shared with us on an episode earlier this year. Their new spot's going to bring together all of Jake's concepts, the Lawrence Barbecue, the Lagoon Bar, Leroy's Taco Shop, all together. There's going to be a patio, a smokehouse, full bar, merch sales, of course. All this inside an old furniture warehouse in downtown Cary. It's a 4,900 square foot space. It'll probably seat close to 250 in the dining room and front porch. And Jake Wood tells the guys there at the Raleigh News and Observer that he's planning a new menu. He's going to lean more into the unique style of Q and hospitality, as he told the News and Observer. He also says that new location is going to feature a floating oyster cart. As you know, if you've listened to the episode with Jake, that really follows the dreams that he shared about, having something that combines some really cool stuff, all his favorite things like oysters and barbecue. What better pairing can you have for North Carolina? So he's going to have all that in one place. Again, opening up in the summer of 2025 as the plans are set. You be sure and follow Lawrence Barbecue on Instagram to keep up with the move. Speaking of moves, Elliot Moss has revealed his plans for taking barbecue home. In fact, he's done more than reveal them. He is in full swing taking those plans home. Eaters Carolina really kind of broke the news officially. A lot of folks have been hearing things over the last several months, but finally it's official. Elliot is going to open his new barbecue venture in his hometown of Florence, South Carolina. After 17 years spent smoking and cooking and working and earning acclaim in Asheville, most notably at the Admiral and at Buxton Hall, where probably a lot of folks know him, he's now moving back to South Carolina. He's going to share the site with Seminar Brewing, and I know he's going to be involved there. He's already serving the barbecue up. Things are getting official. He's got whole hog pulled pork, chicken bog and hash, plenty of other favorites. I think he's talking beer can chicken, beer battered and smoked fish sandwiches. And if you know Elliot Moss, there's going to be, again, plenty of whole hog barbecue and plenty of experiments, lots of great stuff. Looking forward to getting Elliot onto the show real soon. And I know that you can read a complete feature about him. Just dial it up in Eaters Carolinas. He's getting some publicity about this new spot as he opens it up. It's really going to be cool there with Seminar Brewing. Gives you a great reason to go to Florence, South Carolina. So congratulations to him on this next chapter for him and his barbecue journey. A couple of other barbecue business news. Iron City Barbecue is opening in Blacksburg. That town is starting to blossom. If you know South Carolina and Blacksburg area, a new owner has quit his job and took out a second mortgage on his home. He's opening up Iron City. He's already kind of built a customer base through catering jobs and working his food truck. And that's a familiar story as a lot of people we've talked to do a similar thing. This is the Blacksburg area of South Carolina. And this is coming as Blacksburg is actually considering a multi-million-dollar streetscapes plan. They've made annexations. There's been new homes constructed. So Jason Merritt may be taking a chance at the right time with Iron City Barbecue in Blacksburg. If you get by there, check him out. More news from friends of the show. That's from Backdraft Barbecue. They've launched a rub that's now available in Lowe's food stores of South Carolina. You can find it in Mount Pleasant, Summerville, Charleston, Hanahan. Just look at the blog. I've got the locations and the addresses there. Just keep your eyes peeled. If you're in South Carolina at Lowe's Foods, look for Backdraft Barbecue. And he's one of the competition barbecue cooks that we've talked to over the past summer. Eric Carpenter and his bunch do a great job there. So look for him, Backdraft Barbecue. He's going to be in Low Country Publix locations in October as well. More business news. Monkey Wrench Smokehouse is closing in Travelers Rest. That's a location that's actually going to be shutting down, or it shut down a little bit earlier in August. Good news is there'll still be barbecue coming from that location. It's now going to be SBH Barbecue. Apparently, the restaurant owners from Monkey Wrench Smokehouse have decided to put all their focus on Sidewell Pizza Company. They already have 4 pizza shops around the area of Travelers Rest. And so now the site for Monkey Wrench is going to be SBH Barbecue, and that will actually be their second location and the second that will be open in the past 4 months. So congratulations to SBH Barbecue. Good luck to you, Monkey Ranch. I want to talk for just a moment about what I've been reading. First of all, how long does that pulled pork last in the refrigerator? Is this pork still good? I mean, I made it on 4th of July, and that's the question we've all faced for a long time. And just for reference, if it was from the 4th, I threw it out. It may still be out there from Labor Day, but I mean, we're getting close. So keep it. The USDA, however, recommends these time frames for pork products. And this is thanks to dietitian Chelsea Edwards. She's with the Southern Living magazine. And she says, or the USDA specifically says, raw pork, use it within 3 to 5 days of purchase or freeze it. Cooked pork, consume it within 3 to 4 days. So, phew, boy, that Labor Day pork may be going off by now. So frozen pork, consume it within 6 months for the best taste. No, I got choked up about throwing away the pork. But if it's frozen, consume it within 6 months. Again, that's from Southern Living dietitian Chelsea Edward. Probably some pretty good advice. Pretty good advice coming as well from Barbecue Brothers, Barbecue Bros, if you will. They are celebrating resident culture as they've now officially expanded into the top tier of Charlotte barbecue, according to the Bros. Also, some reading from the Smoke Sheet. They took a dive into Eastern Tennessee barbecue. Self-described BBQologist Ed Riley takes a nice look into Eastern Tennessee barbecue. And of course, Tennessee has 3 distinct regions of barbecue, and he talks about, what each section includes and gives you some of the best bets near Knoxville, Chattanooga, Johnson City as well. All that as at the Smoke Sheet. So a couple other things I've been reading. Food, a love story. That's from Jim Gaffigan. It's pretty funny. It takes a look at all the foods in America's various food fetishes. We've got them. Barbecue may or may not be in the fetish category. It's okay if it is, I guess. But check out Food, a Love Story. I've been reading What Are You Getting Wrong About Appalachia by Elizabeth Catt. I'll just leave it at that. Dogland, Passion, Glory, and Lots of Slobber at Westminster Dog Show. If you know anything about the Charlotte region, that's from Tommy Tomlinson. A really great writer for the Charlotte Observer for many, many years from Georgia. Writes a great book. It's kind of the best of show. If you've seen the movie, The Best in Show, that's the best in show of books. Again, Dogland, Passion, Glory, and Lots of Slobber at Westminster Dog Show. So I got some tips I want to share with you here before we wrap it up pretty quickly. And those are thanks to Mrs. Chigger. She's given me the idea that maybe I ought to help the audience some more. Now that fall is almost here, some cleaning tips might be a good idea. And so I went on the internet and I searched for fall smoker maintenance. And AI had plenty to say. And I try to skip those AI suggestions, at least those ones at the top, and go to, I know, down there a little ways down the list where somebody probably created something that might be worth reading. And the American Barbecue Systems is at the top. And they say, number 1, heat the grill to 400. Use a wire brush to remove all the stuff from grates and smoker. Just brush it all down, wipe it all down, and then season your smoker. You get a high burn point oil, coat the inside walls, the door, the lid, the racks, the grates. Let all that sit there for 10 minutes. Do that for 2 or 3 times a year. So that's what you do. You should do that every week, every time you use it, except for the seasoning part. Sounds like a lot. So they recommend you also do a deep clean once or twice a year, depending on how much you use it. In that case, you want to do a clean burn. That means light your smoker with the vents wide open, burn off all the residues, then allow it to cool fully. Then you'll wash and degrease. Just clean the smoker with warm water and a degreaser detergent. Get to steel brushing, scrape off any unwanted rust spots using a steel brush. Rinse it all down, let it air dry, and after fully cleaning, let it dry. Then you'll want to reseason it using that deep clean with the oil, the high point burning oil. Rub it down good for optimal performance. So That is the recommendation of the American barbecue systems. Now, has this chigger ever cleaned the Weber Smoky Mountain like that? And no. That's what they recommend. So to comply with Mrs. Chigger's suggestion, there it is. Some recommendations for fall. You do what you got to do. That's what American Barbecue wants you to do. Let's talk about some events quickly. I mentioned one of them, the Barbecue City Brew and Q is coming up September 21st in Bessemer City. It's the Bessemer City Brew and Q in September 21st. Again, a Southern Barbecue Network sanctioned backyard competition from 12 to 9. It'll be live music, craft beer vendors, lots of details in the blog. Another one I'm really excited about is the Smithfield Cup in Elizabethton. That's coming up Sunday, October 13th. There'll be barbecue teams from North Carolina and South Carolina. They're going to battle for the People's Choice Award, the Smithfield Cup. The team's going to pair professional pitmasters with amateurs. Here's the teams. Again, you'll understand why I'm excited. We know these guys here. It ought to be a great competition. From North Carolina in Charlotte, it's Lewis Donald from Sweet Lou's, and representing Durham is Jake Wood from Lawrence Barbecue in Durham. South Carolina team will be Robbie Robinson from City Limits and Dylan Cook from Fourth Grove. So again, you're pitting the North and the South head to head. Cape Fear Distillery from noon to 5 p.m. Get your tickets while they last. $20 each. Kids under 14 get in for free with an adult admission. So let's look at your schedule for that weekend. I went ahead and did it for you. You're welcome. October 12th, App State's on the road. The Tide's rolling in T-Town. Wolfpack and Tar Heels are at home. And the Panthers host the Falcons in the Queen City. That could be the makings of a good weekend down east. You might run into a little traffic, but don't worry about that. Get to the Smithfield Cup October the 13th on Sunday in Elizabethton. Another really cool event, much like Pinehurst, is the Smokes Low Country Barbecue Festival coming up in Charleston. That's going to be in November the 9th through the 11th. They've created distinct villages with traditional Texas, new school, and coastal style cooking in each one of these villages. Right now, the big count, 32 pit masters coming from restaurants all over the South. And I've been down the list, gosh, and it is super impressive. Again, Paul Meara is there from Charleston. Wright's Barbecue from Fayetteville and Arkansas. They've ranked highly with a lot of folks. Our friend Tank from Holy City Hogs in Charleston. Elliott's from Florence, South Carolina. Moo's Craft Barbecue. We mentioned them moments ago in some of those top lists there from the barbecue snobs. Sam Jones Winterville and Raleigh's going to be there. There's a huge list, 32 of them all together. Plus, tickets went on sale in July, but you can still get them. General admission, $95. Kids get on 7 to 13. They're in for $25. Anyone under 6 gets in for free. And that, my friends, is the lowdown look at summer 2024. You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcast. Be sure to visit us online at lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you'll find the blog. You can hear other podcast episodes. And if you like what you hear, just give us that 5-star rating. It helps other people find our podcast. Remember, visit lowslowbbqshow.com and subscribe to the Lowdown newsletter. We'll send you the latest podcast, blog, recipes, barbecue events, all the news we've been talking about today in your Tuesday inbox every morning. Special thanks to our producer, Andrew Moose, and the whole team at the Mesh.tv network of podcast. Most especially, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Remember, for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.